but the guns themselves have about a ½ inch of material difference if you look at them side by side. So feed neck to feed neck, the GT2 is just a smidgen longer, at least it seems. Obviously I haven't busted out some kind of long reach micrometer or anything like that, but you can just see. And then too, there's just some routing differences and some things in the frame and all that kind of fun stuff. So there's a weight difference, a little bit of a length difference. Obviously your on-offs are different. The actual regulator location is different. And for you folks who aren't familiar with the GTi, the regulator is located in the foregrip, whereas on the GT2, the regulator is located in the grip frame, where they have been for the last couple iterations of MacDev's flagship gun. This reg right here is, or this foregrip right here is completely hollow, basically. Like, I mean, and there's not much going on in there. And it does receive the rubber foregrips for some of MacDev's production guns right now. Okay, I will get these things taken apart, and we'll take a look at some of the routing differences and things like that here in a second. But I think the biggest thing that y'all are really more interested in is like, hey, what's the difference in the bolts themselves? So I'll set this off to the side there. GT2 bolt. GTi bolt. You can see pretty much the exact same stinking thing. To the point of like almost exactly the same thing. Little minute difference in length. So we'll take the bolt guide off of here. Bolt guide off of here. Similar, same. Valve. And I'll go ahead and pop the bolt out, but like I said, this is a pooty bolt. And it is in there. Good night. So we got the pooty bolt guide here. GT2 bolt guide there. Same basic length. Similar there. These appear to be different, but that is just to kind of make up for that, like I said, ½ inch of kind of body difference. And two, I mean, it looks like you'd get a little bit of volume difference there. So probably affects the operating pressure itself. Pop open this valve. There's that little guy. Open this valve. There's that little guy. Now, smidgen difference there. Hard to see in the camera. That's that. But this is no cover up, right? Like MacDev has said, this is basically, or is the same thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. The GTi had proven this bolt a long time ago, and the iterations before this bolt were, you know, a big deal. When the Droid came out with something similar, it was kind of this unprecedented, like, oh my gosh, we didn't know that spool valves could get that type of efficiency. And so nothing wrong with that. It also shot smooth. It does shoot smooth. They are some of the smoothest shooting guns on the market, in my opinion, especially once they're broken. And that's a big thing too. Some of you guys are going to get these and go, oh, you know, like it's not buttery smooth and doesn't shoot like my Lux that I've put 40 cases through. Well, obviously, because it's a brand new gun. And so give it some time and give it some love, and it'll shoot miraculously. Like I said in previous videos, our team has shot some iteration of MacDev for a long time, and have always been behind and appreciated the guns themselves. So, okay, set these aside. Over here, we'll take a look at kind of some of the other stuff. Probably fast forward or cut out the actual disassembly of these. But I do want you to see kind of the difference in how they routed the air and the wiring, and kind of how those systems work. Obviously, you know, we probably won't take off the eye covers because there's not much to see there. The only difference in the GTi is that, and then this isn't going to show up well on camera, but the GTIs don't have the like kind of anti-eye paint cover things. I don't know what they actually call them at MacDev, but it's basically a plastic insert that goes into the eye hole, and the GT2s use a different kind of reflective or IR eye in this version. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll get to it. I did want to show you before, actually, we got this thing taken apart. There are some body differences, more in the frame than anything else. You can see that like the cut lines are very similar. I mean, this pattern is really similar. Even on the top of the gun, probably hard to see, but the lines are very close. Here there's a little bit of difference, but I think that has something to do probably with the routing and how the frames are situated, and to styling, like MacDev wanted some kind of different styling. And then these lines here are pretty similar too. So again, didn't stray far from tried and true, but pretty cool design overarchingly and with the GT2. So I'll put this away. We'll get this Pooty GTi taken apart and we'll get back with you. Okay, so quick look at both guns without the frame. The Pooty, I didn't take all the wiring and everything off of it because, well, I don't want my friend to murder me. So, if I broke something. So anyways, the routing is obviously going to be different, as you can see here. The air routing, pretty much everything routing. You see the air comes through here, goes into this manifold, and the manifold really kind of routes everything around. Solenoid is on the gun itself, right over kind of that directional area in the bolt system. And then there's a variety of like secondary boards and things like that. The eyes are wired all the way through to the main board. And then obviously there's a 9-volt battery that powers this gun. OLED, you know, display and all that kind of fun stuff, but just a lot more complicated, a lot more things going on here, right? Now, if we look at the GT2, I can swing it around a little easier because, well, it comes completely disconnected, because it does have those quick connect points here. The air inlet, again, is similar. It goes into a manifold there. But the big difference, or one of the big differences, is that the solenoid is located in the frame, or on the frame. It is mounted to the frame, just in case you're wondering. And then it's a rechargeable, as you guys have seen and know. So the solenoid setup is here. One thing we didn't look at is the trigger, which I don't want to pull that up with one hand, but it's kind of this fixed trigger setup within the GT2. I did replace mine with the Staunchy trigger, just because bigger fan of the Deuce style. It was kind of a booger, actually, to get out and put in, but it's kind of a design necessity, really, for the way that this is set up. And two, it leaves the trigger performing kind of more rock solid and keeps it from having no side-to-side play, which is nice. So, you know, give and takes with any design is what you're going to run into. But on this is pretty old school in the way that it's situated. It's just a set screw that puts the trigger in, and then there's the pin that goes through the trigger itself. So I will get these puppies put back together, and then maybe we'll take a look at the actual eye covers and see just kind of real quick the difference between these two guns as it comes to the eyes themselves. All right, quick look. So you can see the grip frames are a little different. I don't think this is something we looked over. This has the old kind of rubber on-off button. And this has the charging port and the two metal on-off buttons, and it just has to do with, obviously, the rechargeable battery. The GTi turning on. Has the little cool MacDev sound. Similar readout. And got this guy here. So shut that off real quick. Shut this off real quick, and then we can pop open the eye covers. Obviously, this one's going to be super easy. Like I said, square kind of looking eyes here. Then our detent. And then this one is going to be a little different. And these have the more the VX style detent, and can't really see they're super great, but it is that circular, I think it's a 3mm sensor there for the eyes. So all in all, I wouldn't say like, you know, monumental bolt changes or really body design changes. I mean, trigger frame size, things like that. The biggest thing is just in kind of like the modernization of the gun itself, where you have the rechargeable battery, you have the ability to quick disconnect the frames, you can get in there a lot easier and tech this a lot easier. Like I could disassemble this far easier. Even getting the reg and everything out consistently is a little bit easier and simpler. Same with the on-off, etc. So they've just really modernized the platform and kind of brought it up to be on a level where everything else is. I mean, the actual bolt system itself didn't really need much of that, just because it already was kind of a, I don't know, maybe even before its time style bolt. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that, you know, you can really kind of see that MacDev heard the customers. They heard kind of what people appreciated about past guns, and then even what they appreciated about, you know, current guns in the XTS and some of these other things, and the ergonomics and the way everything feels and the regs and etc. So really the best of both worlds. Nothing to complain about. We'll get an efficiency test on this today, tomorrow, sometime this weekend.